Hi, SImon Chapple here. I'm the Quit Alcohol Coach, and as always, I'm here to help you smash your sobriety. I hope you're doing great. And if you haven't already checked out my new Quit Alcohol program, the details are on the screen now. Head over to the website and check it out because it's an awesome way to get extra support, connection, the tools, the tactics, everything you need to learn to help you successfully quit drinking without the hefty price tag of paying for a one-to-one quit drinking coach. It's proving so popular and it's helping loads of people already. So if you feel like that's something you might need, definitely check it out. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, there's 2 new videos every single week. So subscribe and you won't miss out on another one in the future. So I wanted to talk today about sobriety after lockdown ends. Now, it's a question I've been asked loads and loads of times recently. Lots of people have been doing great. They've quit drinking during the lockdown. It's actually worked in their favour. They're not able to go out to social events. Their friends aren't pressuring them to drink. They don't need to make any excuses about why they're not boozing right now. And there's a fear and some nerves around how they're going to go out into the real world as the lockdown starts easing, it starts coming to an end. Friends might be throwing a big party or having a barbecue, and there might be worries and concerns around that. So I'm going to give you 5 tips for staying sober after lockdown ends without discomfort, without feelings that you're missing out on anything. So the first tip is to be kind of choosy about where you actually go. For the first 2 months after I quit drinking, I didn't go to any events where I thought I'd be tempted to drink, where people might pressure me to have a drink. I stayed away. I made healthy swaps. I'd go out with my son or my wife instead. We'd go to the movies, we'd go bowling. So be choosy. Think about where you're going, how strong you feel. You don't have to go to that boozy event. You've got the power of choice in this, and knowing that you can say no is really, really powerful. Set some boundaries for yourself. You might say, actually, in the first 2 months, I'm not going to go anywhere where there's going to be temptation or I think I might be triggered to drink. There might be certain people, there might be certain places. If you get all this information down, then you're going to be really well set for success. My second tip for sobriety after lockdown is to try and find some new hobbies. Now that sounds really sort of straightforward and basic, but there's more to it than that. When we quit drinking, we have this desire, this new motivation inside us to get out and discover new things, or to reignite old passions that we once had. Take a moment, get your journal out and write down the things that really light you up. The stuff that when you do it, you lose track of time. It might be playing the guitar, it could be pottery, knitting, word games, puzzles, running, cycling. It could be anything. The list is endless. And if you want any ideas, reach out to me. But the point is that if you've got new activities that really light you up and bring you joy, you're going to find that those old reasons why you drink, those feelings of, well, I drink because it de-stresses me, I drink because I think it's fun, you're meeting those needs, and they were false beliefs, by the way, but you're meeting those needs with a healthy, new, enjoyable activity. Alcohol sucks the joy out of everything in life. Because that stimulation is so high, so false, everything else seems insignificant and irrelevant. When you take alcohol out of the equation, it's that becomes insignificant and irrelevant, and the joy comes back into the normal things in life, which is the most important thing. You start to get enrichment and nourishment from even the most simple things like taking the kids to the park. Yet when I was drinking, if I was at the park with my son, all I was thinking about was, when can I buy wine? How much am I going to drink later today? So take a moment and find those things that really are a passion for you. And it can be a struggle to think about that. It might even be things from your childhood. But when you get your pen and paper out and start putting a list together, you'll be surprised at the things that you enjoy. And I believe we've all got those things that really did light us up. And getting them back and rediscovering them is such a wonderful and joyful feeling. Number 3 on my list is to make sure that you've got some decent new adult drinks that you can go to when you feel like you want to drink alcohol. So for me, this was a massive tool, and it's a much underrated tool. I've heard hundreds of people tell me how zero alcohol drinks have acted almost like a placebo. They filled a void that alcohol has left, especially if we drank in a kind of ritual style, which I absolutely did. It was every evening. Even opening the bottle gave me this sense of relaxation. Whereas when I discovered botanical drinks like seedlip, cedars, Caleno, Barago, these are like non-alcoholic, zero alcohol botanical spirits that taste great, they feel grown up, they're wonderful with tonic and a slice of lime. Some people enjoy zero alcohol beers, some people enjoy zero alcohol wines. I tried the red wine, zero alcohol, and it was disgusting. But some of the white ones are quite nice. And my wife even drinks a zero alcohol Prosecco. So whatever works for you. But having a go-to drink is a great way to help you on that sober path after lockdown ends. And especially if you are going to go to some of these events, why not just pour a zero alcohol beer or a tonic with a botanical drink in it into a glass? Nobody's going to know any different. Nobody's going to ask you, or it's unlikely if they do. And that can be a great way of navigating through an event without having attention or feeling like you're being false or making excuses. And also make sure you've got support around you if you do decide to go to an event. Take someone who truly has your back and wants you to thrive in your sobriety, and set things up for success. You know, you might want to make sure you've got an exit plan. You might decide you're only going to go to an event during the day. You're going to leave at a particular time. And if you are going to an event, don't make it about the alcohol. You could be the one who's in charge of the music, in charge of the games, in charge of the barbecue, whatever it needs to be, so that you've got a different focus. Let everybody else do the drinking. You don't need to get involved in that part. My fourth post-lockdown survival tip is to stop having FOMO, the fear of missing out. I used to have it all the time. Oh, my friends are all going out into town, they're all going to be getting drunk, and if I wasn't going, I felt like I was missing out. After I quit, I actually learned to love JOMO, the joy of missing out. I never even heard it as a phrase before. My goodness, it's wonderful. And even the last New Year's Eve, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a picture of me, New Year's Eve, laying on my sofa with this wonderful new fleecy blanket that I treated myself to, up to my neck. And I wasn't out in the rain, in the cold, with everything spinning, arguing, drunk, being sick, trying to find a taxi home, paying over the odds for it, waking up on January the 1st with a hangover. No, I embraced JOMO. And that comes back to my first point around being able to say no, being choosy about where you go. You want to be a little bit like a celebrity who's kind of picky about the events that they show up to. Your sobriety needs to come first. And every event you need to think about whether it's right for you right now, whether it's a good fit for you at this current time. I'm sure as you grow stronger and you continue on this journey, you're not going to have a problem going into a pub, going to a party or a boozy event. But to me these days, I'm not really interested in those things. I find them boring. I've got so many other hobbies and things that bring joy into my life that feel so good that I don't really have time for that kind of thing. So when you think, oh, well, I'm going to miss out, actually, I don't miss out on anything. And I actually want to miss out on those sort of things because I don't find them nourishing or enjoyable. You know, drunk people after a couple of hours repeat themselves. They don't listen to what you're saying. They spray your face with spit while they're talking loudly. And I normally end up feeling like it's time to go now. You were fun an hour ago, but this is getting kind of boring now. And that's not the same for every event. But be choosy, be picky, and embrace the JOMO. And my final post-lockdown survival tip is to make sure you've got an environment that sets you up for success. And what I mean by that is that our environment can actually destroy the need for willpower. And willpower is a bit like a muscle. After time, it kind of wears out. So if you're finding your grit in your teeth and taking every day as it comes and feeling like you're just holding on in there, you're doing this on willpower, and you need to go back and work on your mindset so that you feel truly free. And having an environment that's set up correctly eliminates the need for willpower. So here's an example that I gave in a recent live that I did. If you were on a diet and you'd said, I'm not eating takeaway food again, no burgers, no fries, no thick shakes, and you worked a busy career, you were out early in the morning, you didn't get home till late at night. You get home on a Monday evening after being at work and there's no food in the fridge, there's no food on the table. The first thing you're going to do is think, that's an excuse. There's a reason, there's a trigger for me to phone the delivery guy and get that fast food right on my doorstep. Whereas if you had over the weekend prepared your meals ahead, that eliminates the need for willpower when you're thinking, do I, don't I get a takeaway delivered? Or if you'd said to your partner, would you mind cooking tonight? Whatever it might be, if you'd prepared and planned ahead, it takes that opportunity to make a decision off the table. And it's exactly the same with alcohol. It might be that you don't have alcohol in the house. It might be that someone else controls your credit cards for a period of time so you can't buy it. It might be that you don't have access to wherever it is you need to go or you might go that would trigger you. Only you know, and only you can be honest with yourself in order to set your environment up for success. If you leave wiggle room and little gaps where you can get around it, you're going to get around it, because maybe does not mean maybe. Maybe means I'm going to. So you need to block all those avenues to set your environment up for success. And I don't do that so much now, but I don't have red wine in the house. And in the early days, I was really, really careful to ensure that I wasn't going anywhere or wasn't around any people or have anything in my house that was going to put me in a place where my sobriety might be jeopardised. And then as I felt stronger, I started to make little adjustments to where I went, who I might be around, and what levels of alcohol were in the house, which is for my wife, by the way, not for me, or if we have guests round, but I definitely don't have red wine. And that was one of the boundaries that I set. I don't want red wine around me. I don't like it, don't like the look of it, the smell of it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And my wife was fine with that. We met in the middle. I had a very vulnerable conversation with her around it and said, look, it's totally fine that you drink moderately, but I really would appreciate it if we didn't have red wine in the house. And she was totally fine. Instead of me saying, I don't want any alcohol here, you can't drink because I'm quitting, I put myself in her shoes and thought, well, if I still drank, how would I feel if somebody was imposing their beliefs on me, telling me to make a change? It's not the right way to go about it. So, and if you need any advice around setting your environment up successfully, just reach out to me. You can message me through my website, through my Facebook, through my Instagram page. I'm here to help. And it's the same with any of the other points. If you're thinking, okay, well, that makes sense, but how do I practically do it? Just reach out to me. It's what I'm here for. Okay, so there's 5 tips as we approach the end of lockdown that I hope are going to set you up for success. As I say, if you need more support, check out my new program. It really is brilliant. The website's on the screen. And also do subscribe to the YouTube channel right here, because it will give you access to 2 new videos every single week and you won't miss out because you'll get notified. And I will see you very soon for the next video.